Hey guys, I'm Jackson. This is my spoiler-free review for the new film, Companion. The new horror romance film that I think I can confidently say, even though we are only a month in, 2025's Abigail. A movie whose first act is entirely ruined by the trailers. But twist! This time, also by the poster. So Companion is about a group of friends that go away to a holiday at a billionaire's house, and a bunch of events kind of kick off, and maybe everybody isn't who they originally pretend to be. As I said, this film's promotional material is hell-bent on ruining a lot of the fun of the first half of this film, but is the film truly ruined by the promotional material? No, just the first act. Although I do feel like it soured my experience. I think it dropped a full star because I was just so annoyed how ahead of the movie I was, and the movie was just so clearly trying to trick me and pull the rug out from under me that I was just kind of okay, let's wrap it up, movie. The whole first act felt like a prologue where I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. Let's get to the movie. Could the movie start, please? So I don't know. That's probably going to sound my experience, and if the film was really good, I'd love to revisit it for a second time. But I've already seen it for a second time because the whole second viewing would be you being like, oh, every second line of that first 25 minutes is hinting to what's going on. That's so clever. That's so interesting. Whereas on the first watch, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. That's funny. Oh, yep, I get it. That's funny. Oh, yep. Oh, that's clever. And then you keep doing that every 15 seconds for 20 minutes. By the end, you're like, yeah, no, I get it. I get what's going to happen. Could we just do it already, please? Now, I know that's not the filmmaker's problem, but at the same time, I don't know. I can't help but experience the film how I experienced it, which was to be ahead of the film. So there's a moment 25 minutes in where they're like, what about this? Aren't I blowing your mind? And it's like, no, I knew this 3 weeks ago. Thankfully, after that, there are a couple more twists and turns and reveals and revelations that are quite exciting and fun and fresh, even if they're mostly pretty obvious. It's a lot funnier than you'd think it would be at times. I was surprised by how funny some of the bits were, and it moves at a clip, and the second act is really good, where I was like, oh, I actually don't even know if I care about how annoyed I was in that first act anymore. Who cares about the promotional material? This is what the film is. And then the third act is just kind of yeah, okay, no, this is just what the film is. Yeah, I have seen this a million times before, and if it wasn't for Sophie Thatcher's performance, I would probably be pretty disinterested at this point. I don't really feel like I'm emotionally lashed onto any of the characters. I don't think this is saying anything that a film like this hasn't said better and more nuanced and cleverly. It just kind of feels a little obvious at times. There are some really interesting kind of cool little moments. There's a bit of gore, which is kind of cool, I guess. But overall, I just kind of left it being yeah, a middle-of-the-road Black Mirror episode that's 20 minutes too long. It's just frustrating because this was produced by the guys who did Barbarian, and that trailer and that promotional material was exceptional. Have faith in your product that when people do see it, they'll go, I can't tell you anything. But trust me, if you like horror and thrillers, watch it. Just say it's 2025's Barbarian. Just say that. Don't say anything about the plot. So I don't know, it's kind of frustrating, and it's a little nitpick, it doesn't really matter. I don't know, all good films you should be able to watch without the twists. There's one aspect that I thought was really interesting, but I kind of wanted them to play with that a little bit more. I feel like as soon as they made it really interesting, they then went, nah, forget about that little subplot, we're doing this. And I'm like, that actually, I feel like is maybe more interesting. I thought it was pretty good, but overall a film I probably won't be thinking about that much. Sophie Thatcher's pretty good though. Honestly, I think the best part of the film was when two mums and their two 3 to 5-year-old children rocked up to the cinema late, about 15 minutes in, and they sat in my row, and they were quite loud because these toddlers were, toddlers, and they started watching this horror thriller film with me. And it was, baffling and confusing and quite honestly thrilling. I was like, that is some psycho parenting behavior. I don't know if I respect it or if I should call somebody. But they left about 3 seconds after the first moment of blood and gore, and they realized what they'd done. Honestly, I was more curious about these mums and their kids than anything that was going on in the film. The moment I thought they were going to stay for the long haul was one of the most exciting yet horrifying moments I've ever had in a cinema. 3 stars for those two mums. What stories they could tell. I mean, they probably just walked into the wrong cinema and as soon as they realized what they'd done, they left. But still, what a wild 10 minutes it was.